Hello and welcome to season 2, episode 6 of Your Mom's Podcast, the only podcast that's worth walking out on a date with one of Degrassi's coolest girls. I'm Avis,
I'm Caroline.
And I'm producer Charlie.
and today we're discussing Degrassi season 2, episodes 12 and 13, White Wedding, parts 1 and 2. Roses are red, Zetus Lapidus. Will Spike cancel the wedding over one little fetus? Spike discovers she's pregnant one day before the Spike discovers she's pregnant one day before the wedding. Geez, that doesn't work. Spike discovers she's pregnant one day before she and Snake are set to tie the knot. Does she make the reasonable and responsible choice to discuss this with him ASAP? Of course not. Instead, she tells Emma. Instead, she tells Emma. Decides on how. Instead, she tells Emma. Decides on her own how Snake will feel and strongly considers getting an abortion. Oh, and she fucks up Emma's hair. Can she figure out how to handle things like an adult before they walk down the aisle? Also, in this episode, despite the clear boundaries Snake sets, Joey hires an exotic dancer for the bachelor party, and a bunch of people are really gross about it.
All right. That's pretty much White Wedding in a nutshell.
It is. And I mean,
All right, that's a wrap.
it's a it's a good two. I mean, I feel like this is probably one of the rare two-parters that isn't like high stakes
Right.
for what like. It's not that we don't care about Spike and Snake. It's just that like they're not like most of what we get.
Right.
Like we're like holding off on checking on Paige and
Well, and like,
and certain other,
yeah, there's
things.
conflict, there's drama, but like,
Yeah.
it is very low stakes. It's very like, we're used to these two-parters covering heavy, heavy stuff, and this one
Right.
does not.
It doesn't. And I don't know if it's like, and I realize that they don't all have to, and that's probably like, you know, I think that the biggest thing that probably happens in this episode, to take it out of just Lanier discussing it, is that Emma and Sean get together. They finally have a meaningful kiss. Emma, you know, basically falls on her feelings for him and doesn't and decides that she will take the risk of being in a relationship. So
Yes.
because she likes this boy. So and I love how like Manny says, Sean, your love. Like because it's very like, I think that's the biggest thing that happens. And I mean, go Snake and Spike, because I do think that if you have watched the older show and if you watch their arc on this show and then you go back to the old show, you expect to see them more, and they are not. They're not really, they're friends sort of, but they're not friends at the same
They've
time.
been they've been friends since junior high.
They've been
Spike said
adjacent
so.
friends. They've been in the same social circle since junior high. But there was actually another girl that Snake dated more exclusively. Um, I think her name's Melanie. I think her name's Melanie. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm probably wrong. I'm bad with names.
I mean, I know
But
there is a Melanie.
yeah, if I see that girl, but she was the one who he was crushing on. Spike was too busy being pregnant and dealing with Shane's ass. So, and then once she was pregnant, she had a baby. So when she stopped being pregnant, she had a child. So she wasn't necessarily, focused on dating and such for a
Right.
while. And I mean, having a child in high school or in junior high can be a deterrent to your love life. Snake saying that we have been friends for so many years, maybe it's best that we keep it that way, I think is it kind of, that feels like the most genuine part
Mm-hmm. Does
of
Snake
their
say that, or does
entire
Spike
arc.
say that?
No, that's Snake. That's Snake when they're walking on the pier and
Mm.
he's frustrated. Um and Spike says something similar to maybe it'll stay that way, but like I think she says it in a series of things like, and ends with like the baby, maybe that won't meant to, maybe it's not meant to be either, so
That's
it
with
won't be
Caitlin and
right, not with
Lucy.
him, but she does. I think it's like their wording is similar.
Mm-hmm.
um but yeah, it's like I wanted them to be more of like an event for me, of like them getting together, and it's like I enjoy it, I really do. I think that they're a sweet couple, but it's just not like, it is a little bit of a detraction from the main storyline, because
Right.
they're the parents, and even though they have played a role, they're not like the main storyline right now.
No, I agree. I think though, I think a lot of the like Degrassi classic tie-ins were attempts to like have us be watching with our parents,
Oh, definitely.
you know, which I think is kind of cool. I think I totally see Degrassi as like the kind of show that would be good to watch like with your parent or with your child.
Yeah. And like even in some households at that time, I mean, it started airing in like I think 87. Some households didn't have more than one TV, so they were still trying to get programming where they're like, okay, everybody can watch this.
Mhm.
This is for the whole family. And I can see that, you know, okay, I watched this with my family at this time, even though we all have we have TVs in every room now. It's 2001,
Right.
2000. Like we can still get together and watch this because, oh, okay, I recognize these characters. And I do think that's why they take a while to phase them out. And it's why they keep their storylines not, like kind of in your peripheral.
Mhm.
So you're not like, oh, don't forget, Snake and Spike are getting married.
Also, in this episode, Joey sells his house.
Exactly.
This is an
Exactly.
interesting one where like it's rare that the plot and the B plot are so entwined.
Right. I was
Uh,
thinking that. I was just like, it's just plot. We're just
yeah,
there's just
it's just
plot in
plot.
here.
It's
It's
just
just plot.
like it's like
It's
the
just a big old
A2
ball.
plot.
Just a big old ball. Yeah, and I
But
mean,
obviously
it's and Emma's running through it all barefoot. So
Emma's running through it all barefoot with her hair looking a mess.
Emma don't give a fuck. And I mean, that's
First of all,
fine.
why are we perming her hair for a 1 day thing? Have you never heard of pin curls? Have you never heard of rollers? Have you never heard of like
Don't you know she's so dramatic. There's no way that she was
do
going to get the dramatic result that she was looking
do
for.
we think that maybe Spike isn't a hairstylist at all? That's just her cover and she's a dancer and that's how she knows fancy?
If
Uh,
so, she's
because
deep under.
because
She's deep under.
because what are you doing to your child's hair? I'm sorry, there were like, and I guarantee you in the next episode, Emma's hair is going to be back to normal, which is not what happens with a perm. Perm is short
You
for
know what?
permanent.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's funny. There are no repercussions for this.
Well, it's Degrassi.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely a thing where I'm like, okay, I think that they needed something for Emma to further be stressed about. They wanted to just make her a ball of nerves in this episode. And I mean, that's fine. But it's also that's super, like, I feel like you could have given her something else to do because that it's never going to be discussed again. Um,
Well, and
the
like,
fact that she had a perm and almost all of her
It's like
hair
she
almost fell
pissed off
out.
somebody in hair and makeup,
yeah.
and they were like, you know what?
Well, between her mom being pregnant, the maybe abortion, the wedding, you'd think she's got enough on her plate without the perm.
But no, let's
You'd
give her a
think.
perm.
No,
It's so
she's she
bad, y'all. It's so bad. We'll post a picture of it if you
Oh,
haven't seen
it's
Emma's
there's
perm.
regard,
stages to this thing too. There's stages to this bitch. It's like the pre-perm with all the curlers and the cotton gauze, and then it's the post-perm when it's like she's wandering around in her fucking bare feet and her, or not her bare feet, and her pajamas and her fucking bunny slippers around the city streets looking like a puffball. like like Puff from the Proud Family, like she's got major fro going on, and not in an
It's
attractive way.
not good.
And then we've got like the wedding coiffant.
Which is also not that great. They get
It's
Lucy, and finally they're
they
like,
get they
Lucy.
call in 911 and hello, it's Lucy. 911, what's your hair emergency?
Is Lucy the actual hairstylist that Spike claims to be?
She's she must be, because gosh, she makes this a bleak situation. You know,
So
she makes it so Emma does not have to have her first kiss looking like the Bride of
yeah,
Frankenstein.
but
I
Sean's so in love
like
with
or
Emma. He would have had their first
without
kiss
the
while
hype.
she had bird poop on her shoulder.
Oh, he totally would have. He would have kissed her after pulling that burger out of the damn garbage for her. He would have they
Right.
would have he would have made out with her near those dumpsters. He is in it for the long haul. I'm just saying. Damn, she would care.
But
She
so the main plot, I guess essentially we have three plots. The main plot is Emma's hair. Um
Mhm. It really is.
and then the next plot is the Spike and Snake thing. You know, they're about to get married. Did you take them out? Hold on one second. No, I did not. Bruh. Okay, so the main plot is the main plot is Emma's hair. Um, it's really the star of the episode. And then you've got the next plot is this whole Spike and Snake thing. And a lot of shit goes down there. Um, you know, Spike's already feeling some type of way about it, but she's gonna talk to Archie, but then like all of their friends are hovering nearby and somebody says something about kids and he's like, well, not right away.
Mhm.
And
Which
like
is valid.
right.
I'm
And
sorry, Spike.
and
Jeez,
he
you're
doesn't
such a
know
fucking
about the little fetus inside you yet, so he doesn't know that it's on the table. Like it's a lot of
it's
miscommunication.
not, she doesn't want to communicate. Honestly, her character, they don't want to write her any differently, and I swear the same people, like the scripts were left behind from when she was like 14, 15, 16, 17 years old. They write her the same. She is so soft spoken and like in her head, and she won't talk to someone about things. She'll talk to Emma about everything, but she won't like actually communicate with the person she's supposed to be marrying. And for me, it's like I just want her to, and I do note that she has the phone in her hand right before Emma runs in and
Mhm.
says, "My perm, mom." And then she has to put the phone down and help her get her hair together. But you could, I don't know.
Yeah, no,
There just
it's not.
wasn't,
It's
she
not
wasn't
handled well.
communicating. She
Um,
doesn't handle it well. She
and then
talks
she
to herself, and that's it.
she gets the Degrassi kiss of death, which is advice from Caitlin Ryan.
Oh my
She's
gosh.
like gonna call Snake, and then Caitlin is like, "It's not. It's his bachelor party. It's not the vibe." Like Caitlin, we don't have a lot of time here. Uh, and then Emma's bitch ass walks over to Joey's in the middle of the night and tells Snake, "I get Snake being mad, absolutely. I don't really love how he's coming at Emma.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
I mean, he does apologize. I think it's like I feel like that part is such good acting on his part, because it's relatable. It's like, why is this coming from you? Like, why is it coming from you? Like, I'm sorry that I'm, that I lashed out. But he does say that, but it's like in the moment, learning that kind of like huge life-changing information
right.
from your would-be stepdaughter is extremely shitty, because I'm sure he feels like we have enough we should have enough of a strong relationship for you to tell me something as basic as I am expecting a child with you. Like,
I mean, I do.
there's a kind of a common courtesy there, and I mean, Spike just treats it like this is my, and it is her choice. I'm not saying it's not, but at the same time, it's not like your situation is different. It's not like you guys are just casually dating. It's not like you guys had a one night stand and you're in between defining the relationship. Like, there is some measure of security.
Well, and
You are engaged to this man. Talk to him.
and it's not like she doesn't bring up abortion until Snake says the thing about, like, I want to get settled first and all of that. And so
Yes.
she's not she's not making the decision, not that she ends up making it, but she's not considering it because it's what she wants so much as
Yes.
what she thinks Snake wants. And I think in that instance, yeah, I think the man's opinion is a little valid there.
And it's like, you can't presume what I want.
And it's
You
not
haven't talked to me about it.
it's
We
not
haven't had a
fair to him,
discussion.
like, because whether they end up together or not, if she
Mm-hmm.
has an abortion that she doesn't super want to have because of what she's decided his feelings are on it,
Right.
that's so much resentment building up.
Exactly. And it could have been super, it's very preventable, because I feel like you can never know what's going on inside of someone's head. Just like you don't always know what's going on with someone either. Like, he says, like, oh, I'm worried about an exotic dancer, or sorry, he does say stripper. We're making the effort to just say exotic dancer versus what the characters say, because it is very 2002. It You can tell that, like, he's like, I had no idea.
Yeah.
There's just no way I would have thought about that. Like, I made an offhand comment earlier about it. Like, he must be, like, a million thoughts racing in his head. And he's just like, oh, I'm worried about, this party, and she's pregnant. And, like, that's obviously the biggest thing to him right now,
Hmm.
because, and that's
Well,
what
and
kind of devastates me.
it's not like there's a difference between you're not pregnant. A kid is not something that, like, we're doing right now unless we specifically choose to. And so
Hmm.
I'd like to wait until I get a little settled. And, oh, you're pregnant. Okay, I wasn't ready for this, but cool, I'm ready to jump in. Or, oh, you're pregnant. I'm not into that. And, like, she just doesn't give him the chance. And, like, I get it. All of the miscommunication is very realistic. It's
Hmm.
still very frustrating. And it's still, like, I get the relationship she has with Emma has been this way for 14 years and, like, all of that. But, like, have some fucking boundaries.
Yeah.
Your 14-year-old is not the person that you discuss whether or not you're going to terminate a pregnancy with.
And right, him saying, like, some things should be private is valid, because
Mm-hmm.
it's not like, oh, it's not like they're trying to, in his opinion, he wants to hide that, like, of course she needs to be informed that she's going to be a big sister, but she shouldn't be part of like, she shouldn't be the first person to know about this pregnancy. And if she is the first person and it happens honestly, okay, but fucking Snake should be the second person.
Right.
Like, there shouldn't be like you said, a flow of communication from Spike to Emma to Snake. That's not how it should work.
I think, like, it's not like she, like, took the test and then went and found Emma and was like, hey, guess what? I'm pregnant. She took the test
No.
right after she got the positive. Emma's upstairs freaking out about the cake,
Right, and it just happened.
and so, like,
Yeah. I don't
it's
it's
a
not
series of unfortunate events.
It is, and I mean, it's not that I'm saying that it was a malicious in the beginning, that it was a malicious sort of, oh, I'm not going to tell Snake. But then it becomes a, oh, this, maybe this wasn't meant to happen, and this, that, and the third, when I really feel like there isn't, it's not fair. There's no
Yeah,
basis for
she's
that.
making a lot of decisions without even bringing him into the fold. Like, She's talking
Mm-hmm.
about canceling their fucking wedding.
Right. And honestly, had she done that, and I don't think she would have told him why.
Mm-mm.
She wouldn't. So that, imagine the devastation for Snake at not only like losing a fiance and like his wedding being canceled, but also losing the potential for a family without even knowing any
Mm-hmm.
of the reasons why.
Plus, Emma would have held that shit against him, and he's got 4 more years of being her teacher.
Oh, Emma can hold a grudge like people,
It's yeah,
like,
no,
there's
it's a
just
whole
there's
ass mess, and
it
I would
is.
like to see Spike do better.
I want to see her do better, simply because she's going to be married now. um there needs to be some kind of accountability for understanding how your brain works. Okay, you tend to let things spiral based off of unrelated comments
Hmm.
and things that you don't fully know the scope of. Like, maybe if Snake had context, he wouldn't have made
Right,
that comment.
right,
Maybe if he had known that he is an expecting father, because her speech to him, I think, is very good. Her saying, Emma couldn't have come at a worse time, but sometimes it's not about when you're ready. Life just hands you something and you
right.
gotta deal with it. And in this
She
instance,
tells
even though
Snake that Emma's not a mistake.
she tells Snake that, but she tells, if you were in my position and you made this mistake a second time.
I
But
mean,
like, she was a
it's
child.
horrible, horrible
Emma,
wording.
Shots
jeez.
fired.
It's horrible wording, but like
Oh,
the sentiment makes sense. Like it's not, you're not a mistake, but like I didn't try and get pregnant. You were a
you
surprise.
right. And like, then of course Manny having to console her and saying, well, that means that you were wanted. If you weren't wanted in some capacity, then you wouldn't be here.
Can we take a second to shout out how amazing Manuela Santos is throughout this episode?
Because also, I think we to shift into I mean, I guess the it's not the it's related to
It's
Emma's.
all
It's
interwoven,
all interwoven,
but
whatever.
to the Sean plot,
Yeah, to the Sean plot, Manny decides to play rematch maker and like invite Sean to the wedding and say that Emma insisted that Manny give him this invitation, and Sean like is so fucking happy. He's
hmm,
so fucking happy. And then of course, when Emma finds out, Manny's like, I thought you'd be happy. And she's like, fuck you. Go get the invitation. Go uninvite him. Go uninvite him. And I'm like, you like, pause. Like, she is a really good friend for that, because no, I would not go back. I would
right?
just like, you're just gonna have to deal with fallout.
Yeah,
You're just gonna have
sorry.
to, that boy's just gonna have to come and you're gonna have to tell him,
He's
go
so
home.
sad.
So
Tracker
sorry.
is great in this episode too because Tracker's like
He is.
Tracker knows how to be there for Sean with like
Yeah.
not coming on too strong. When Manny uninvites him, he's like, we can still go to Vancouver for the weekend or like wherever they were going to go. He's
Yeah.
also wicked handsome today. Like it's fine. Um,
Caroline's crush on Tracker Cameron continues, and my acknowledgement that the man can dress continues.
Yeah.
The man
I
can dress now.
I do kind of want to like, I loved Tracker this episode, even from
Mhm.
before Manny shows up to uninvite Sean. Just every moment Sean's working on the bike, Tracker's like, "That's good work. You're doing good work."
Yeah.
Just being supportive nonstop. He's like, "Hey, we got I've got a trip planned tomorrow. If you want to come."
mhm.
Sees the
Right.
wedding invite, just goes, "Never mind. You got better plans."
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
and he's
He
very
does.
supportive in a like in this way that's very constant, but like he's not coming on too strong.
Right.
Because a kid like Sean, I feel like you come on too strong and he's like gonna feel like a charity case.
Mm-hmm.
And Tracker's just kind of like indifferently, like, yeah, no, I was gonna go on this trip. You can come if you want. And
Offer
it's
still stands.
it's no, it's really good. I really like Tracker a lot.
I think he's like a great stability for Sean in a way that like I think that is really good for him at this point,
Mm-hmm.
because he doesn't need a lot of like, he doesn't need to be smothered. He needs someone who is going to actually try to guide him. And I really think it shows in just the maturity that he gives
Mm-hmm.
like most characters. Like he is really like impressively mature for someone who, was held back a year, like just with that attitude. Like some kids don't like, like being in a grade with kids that are not your, the kids you should be with, can have a like a really like shitty
Mm-hmm.
effect on your attitude. He takes it in stride and he's like, I'm gonna do what I can. I'm gonna do my best to make it through. And he
Would you say that whatever it takes?
I think he would say. I think that that would be Sean's motto. But I think he's just sweet. Like he has a lot of good qualities, and he is what Emma needs. Like I really think that that is also something that I really like about this episode, is that, or these two episodes, is that Emma comes to him and she's like, I need reassurance that who I am is okay.
Yeah.
And that's really what it boils down to, because he can't tell her, and he doesn't lie to her. Like he tells her straight, but it's like what he thinks about her is the truth. Like nobody does really like get super upset with her for meddling in their lives. Like no
Mm-hmm.
one hates her for it. And I think because he sees all of the best qualities in her, he is able to just like reassure her that like everything's fine. You didn't fuck anything up. Maybe you should have minded your business, but it's
But like,
fine.
it's fine.
It's
Nobody's gonna hate
fine.
you.
No
But
one's
what
gonna
happened to
hate
your
you.
hair?
But what the fuck? What the fuck? But
I love so many people make fun of Emma's hair. My favorite is Joey.
yes. It's
Because
like,
who
and
are
I mean,
you to
it's,
talk, Mr. Jeremiah?
I love when Lucy sees it and she's just like, damn. Like she take like a visible like kind of like a
Yeah.
step back, like, oh my. And I mean, also shout out to the fact that Lucy is so underutilized in this episode. It sucks. And I mean, I'm glad that she's there, of course, because they just,
But throughout the
it's
series,
nice to
like,
have her there.
it's frustrating. They bring Lucy back a couple of times and they never really use her.
No, they don't. It's like they want her there because she's once again nostalgic and she is a fan favorite character. But they don't want to like actually give her anything. Like we don't know what's up with her. I don't know if we get what's up with Caitlyn though, but we get so much more of Caitlyn that it's kind of
Well,
like
because we're still laying the seeds for Caitlin and Joey.
and I just want I think we were talking about this before we started recording. I don't care. I don't care about Joey and Caitlyn. I don't care.
They're a horrible relationship. They've always been a horrible relationship. Like,
Oh my
I have a
gosh.
lot of love for Joey, just in like he's an entertaining character. I think Pat does a great job. But like, Joey
He
is
brings that life,
gross.
right? Like if, and I think it's one of the like testaments to actors and how people say, oh, acting doesn't matter, actors don't matter. They really do, because there are some characters that would just be the worst if they did not have an actor to breathe charisma into them.
Right.
And that is what Pat does for Joey, because anybody else playing Joey would be skeezy and
That's
skeevy
like,
and the backdoor alley guy
not to
that he's
turn
like,
this
hey.
not to turn this into black mold theory for a minute, but that's how I feel about Federico in Six
Oh,
Feet Under.
totally.
Is if they
Oh my
hadn't had Freddie
god.
Rodriguez playing that role,
Brilliant,
he would have been
brilliant actor.
insufferable. But there's just something so charming about Freddie Rodriguez
Hmm.
that he makes Rico palatable. But
Totally.
that's a story for another podcast. Charles.
Should since we're already on Joey and Joey being gross,
Hmm.
should we maybe talk about Joey's side story where he gets easily convinced by a 13-year-old to hire an
Crip's like
exotic
14 or
dancer?
15, but still, yeah, no, it's weird and it's gross.
It's
I don't like snakes set a boundary. And this is the thing that happens in TV a lot when somebody gets married is the groom is like, I don't want any exotic dancers, and then the best man's like, haha, we got you one anyway.
Mhm.
And I hate that trope.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
gross. Respect people's fucking boundaries. Honestly, the bachelor party as a whole kind of grosses me out. Like, Snake is carrying around this ball and chain, and you know it wasn't his idea. And it's a prime example of like,
Oh my
that are
gosh,
the
the
streets
ball and
okay?
chain. Right, like it's and I mean, I really think that I really think that there is a problem for me in that it wasn't even about the boundary. It's like, and I mean, it is about the boundary, of course, but it's like, for my issue with it was that, Snake wanted to go bowling. Snake
Right.
wanted to go fucking bowling.
It's
Like,
his
how
bachelor
about
party.
what he wanted to do?
Right.
He did not want to sit in Joey's house drinking. And I mean, when you bowl, sometimes you might have a beer or two. That's possible. So if you guys wanted to drink, you could have drank at the bowling alley and let Snake play his couple of games of bowling. If they were really caring about like giving him the last hurrah or whatever, they would have done what he wanted to do.
Right.
Like, I really think that for me, it's a little bit of a personal pet peeve when people say, "Oh, I want to do something nice for you," and then they do what they want to do. It's like, bitch, you could have just did that without me. Like, you
Well, and
could
it's also
like, this is
just that,
supposed to
like,
be a special occasion for Snake, and
right.
you're making it about a stripper, or you're making it about, sorry, an exotic dancer that you literally were led astray to hire and
By your
employ for
teenage
this party.
stepson.
Right, like, you turn this thing into, on the fly, into something that, and it's very classic Joey to be led astray. And I actually think it's funny that they do this scene where, it's Craig that convinces him, because I mean, of course, I think JT's character is inspired by Joey, but I also think that Craig's character is inspired by Joey because of, but just different aspects.
Mhm.
Like, Joey was super, like, he was the class clown in junior high. Like, I think JT still very much is in junior high mentality. He is not in high school yet. And Craig is the high school version of Joey once he grew a little bit and started feeling himself a little bit and hit puberty. And like that, they're just two different aspects of his character. But I think it's funny that, like, Craig is the one who's manipulating the situation, and Joey's like the, like, junior high Joey, who's just a bunch of like giggles and, is tripping over himself to kiss a girl or whatever, like that.
Right.
It's just like two versions of himself battling, and I think it's hilarious. It's really
Um,
meta. It's funny.
JT,
Connected
yeah.
connected to that like JT and Craig are both states of Joey. I love that Craig. I love the journey of the fedora in this episode. Craig roams around town looking for strippers with the fedora on, and sorry, exotic dancers. And when Fancy shows up at the party,
Mhm.
Craig like rushes to answer the door, and then
Yeah.
Joey's like, "Up to your room," puts on the fedora. It's just like, Joey Jeremiah, nice to meet you.
Oh my gosh, it's so
It
funny.
is so funny. Um,
Inside of
I
Joey, there are two wolves,
Exactly.
I
Craig and JT.
I secretly love when characters do the thing where they're like, "I'm this character," like, "I'm Joey Jeremiah," or like, "I'm JT York." Like, a couple characters do that, and I think it's funny, like, how many people, like, we are our names, yes.
I feel bad for Toby and JT um when Joey calls their parents, not because they don't deserve it. Absolutely, their parents should be called.
Hmm.
But we know how Toby's parents deal with curiosity about sex. So I assume that they had JT come over and then they paid Fancy to do a private show in their living room and
Oh my
made
god.
JT and Toby watch with them.
The thing
I assume
is,
what happened. Poor Toby's never going to have a normal relationship with
and
sex.
like,
Maybe they hired a Chippendale.
it's literally like the
They
fact that
probably
they
did.
that they did that, and that was not like criminalized.
I'm
Like,
still mad about that.
I'm still
I'm
so
gonna
mad
die
about
mad
that.
about that.
That was so, like, no, they did not consent to that. That was by force. There are like three crimes happening
Yeah,
at
no,
one
no,
time.
they couldn't
Oh my
consent to
gosh.
it. They're children.
They're
It's not okay. Don't
It's
watch
like
porn with your
endangerment of
kids.
a minor. Don't, like, there used to be this meme when I was in like high school. It's like, do you watch porn with your friends? And I don't know where it came from, but it's probably from like an obscure internet video. But it literally is like we used to yell at each other, "You watch porn with your friends?" And I don't know, but that's literally like that that comment you just made, like
It's so, yeah.
it's so bad.
I
It's
Yeah,
so
no, I
so
really
bad.
feel for Toby because like you are just setting this poor kid up for a life of shame.
A life of shame, and that's got to be unpacked.
I'm
Shame is
so
hard to
happy that
unpack.
like for
Oh
all
my
of the ways in
gosh.
which my house could have been better, more so my dad. My dad's take on like the fact that his children were going to be curious about sex was like really great. You know, he wasn't
Hmm.
creepy and weird and whatever. He would answer our questions like,
Hmm.
and I think that goes a long way.
Yeah, no, I definitely think it goes a long way because it doesn't create an environment of shame or fear. It's like people like are going to be at all stages of life. I'm doing this thing where I'm trying to call even, like, because people are like, kids aren't people. They are.
Yeah, even babies are
Even
people.
babies are people. So I'm like, okay, people at all stages of life are curious about sex, and there are going to be explorative things that need to happen in order to develop not only an understanding but also like just like a competency in sex. Like, you can't, it's not fair to demonize it or to make it seem like something that like you can't
No,
learn about. And then you if when you do, I mean, but also curiosity for this, and like being salacious, like, are two, I feel like
and
there's a line that's
if
crossed with
you
JT and Toby,
if
because
you're
it's
not
not
comfortable
curiosity.
talking to your kids about sex, go look up old episodes of Talk Sex with Sue Johansson or buy one of her books. Be
Yeah,
like,
let
here
her
you
do the
go, kid.
work. Let her do the work for you.
Um,
And because that's competent and responsible sex education, because you have a responsibility as someone who is raising another person to equip them as best as possible. Because honestly, this is 2002. The shit only gets worse from on, like, the media that the kids are intaking these days is on another plane.
mhm.
Like, it's not about exotic dancers anymore. That is contained compared to the shit that you could just find on network TV, on cable TV,
Right.
like on any streaming service. Like, I know they have kid profiles and stuff, but honestly, I don't know how long people like censor their kids in their teenage years. So you're just seeing a bunch of
Well,
titties
and the
and
thing too
ass and sex.
is that, you know, if you're not talking to your kids about sex, somebody is. And
Right.
more likely than not, it's somebody who is very much not qualified. Like kids learn about sex from each other.
Yeah.
Somebody's got an older brother or sister.
Right. Not qualified, or even someone who might not have the best interests of that child at heart.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you need to understand that, like, even something as simple as a television show is seeking to, you know, target a specific audience, and they're looking to entertain you. They're not looking to educate you.
Right.
Like, I think that there's a lot to be said for Degrassi, because the goal is mainly to entertain. I'm not sorry, the goal is mainly to educate, not entertain.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that there's a lot of, things that could have been done better and handled better overall, but there's never any point where I feel like, oh, they are sacrificing the goal of the story, or the resolution goal of the story, and making it something that is education worthy for entertainment. They are always trying to give the best scenario outcome possible, and have the characters have learned something. Like, Emma learned something about herself, and she finally, resolves a season long, and some change plot. A lot of what they do in this show is to educate. And it's a very refreshing change of pace. Like, think about even something that I enjoyed in, and I know we talk about it too much, so I'm going to make it brief, but Pretty Little Liars. The goal of that show was to entertain you, and you see how the fucking tone is so different. They do not give a fuck about the mental health of these women.
No, we end the
Of these
series
fucking
with
high
Arya
schoolers.
dating or marrying her groomer, and everybody acting like it's, oh my god, so romantic.
Goals, these are couple goals and marriage goals. Yeah, like it's very much, oh, this is entertainment versus, oh, this is what we want our kids to watch to educate them on healthy relationships. Because if only you, if a child is a 13-year-old girl, 12-year-old girl is watching Pretty Little Liars, what she's going to walk away with is like, it is fine to be like shitty to your friends and manipulate them at every turn. It is fine to fucking fuck my teacher,
And keep
and
all of the secrets, and let's never get our moms involved. And
and
also,
it's fine to never involve my parents in anything that's major in my life that
and
could be
also
detrimental to my mental
let's
health.
keep wearing heels, even though we spend a good chunk of time running through woods and warehouses and creepy
Nobody ever
towns.
invests in a sensible
No,
pair of
get a pair
athletic
of
sneakers.
sneakers.
It's like, get some Nikes, bitch.
For shit, do you remember those, like, used to be you could buy, like, almost like disposable flats at Rite Aid?
Oh yeah, the ones that folded up.
Yeah, those would
Yeah,
be better,
keep them in your bag, just pop them
right?
on. Yeah, like literally teen media. And I
Okay,
think we
we are
talked about
so
it.
off
Yeah,
topic
we talked
though.
about it a little bit in the thing, but like I really think that this whole episode, even though it doesn't have a lot of like plot, it does still handle the little bit of like
Mhm.
controversial topics with like grace
I
for the
do
time period.
I do want to say too, Kate and Jeff's weird porn parenting did not work because JT and Toby clearly still do not respect women, especially sex workers. When JT says
There's no privacy.
she's a stripper, the word
Yeah.
privacy is not in her vocabulary. My
Yeah.
blood boiled a little.
Mm.
And like,
He's JT is unhinged in this episode
and
though.
I
So he's on
get
something.
that JT's a
JT.
child. I get that, like, it's 2002. I have sympathy for all of that. But like, that there's no correction
There's
anything.
that's future legal that's future legal issues there, right there. It
Right.
just sounds
Hmm.
like you are on the lovely road towards being someone's assailant. That's
Like,
what that sounds
just in
like.
case anybody needs this made clear, you still need consent from sex workers.
I don't think, hopefully our listeners shouldn't have to be told that,
Hopefully they
but
shouldn't, but just in
because I
case.
think it's fair to just say any and everyone on this planet deserves the courtesy of being asked their consent.
Hmm.
No one should be assumed consent. That's not a thing. And it's really gross to have that be just an offhanded comment by a 13-year-old. However, there are many things that I think that we were just comfortable saying, and without the implications being like as real as they are now. I don't think we as a society thought as critically as as we do now.
Hmm.
And I think that's something that I'm really appreciative to be like, you know, at the age I am and be able to actually take part in talking about things critically that are old, like that I grew up with, because I never liked JT. I always thought he was gross. It's
Hmm.
just now that we're looking back on it, we realize just how gross.
Right.
We have the words
And
for
for, right, and right, we have the language to describe
And it's
um what kind of fucking like
sex work is
shit comes out of his mouth.
sex work is one of those topics that I don't love how Degrassi handles. Kind of like weed. They have a tendency to demonize
Oh,
weed, and
they
I
suck
feel
with
like
weed. Oh my gosh, they handle E better
like
than they handle
they did
weed.
not handle sex work well at all in this episode. I think, you know, so obviously there's the Joey not respecting Snake's fucking boundaries and everybody just kind of being creepy about Fancy, and then she shows up at the wedding And JT and Toby are being like super like try hard and like, I'll walk you down the aisle. No, I'll walk you down the aisle. And but then also, so after at the reception, Spike introduces them, and she's like, this is my husband Archie, and Fancy says something like, "You don't strike me as an Archie," or something. It's like it's
Yeah,
flirty, and it
that's what she says.
implies like that they know each other in a professional
It int
manner, and like
it's
you
intimate.
wouldn't do that.
I
Sex
think,
workers
yeah.
don't do that.
Yeah, like I mean it's like there's a I think that there's an implied sort of intimacy there. It's like, oh, we know each other, you know, for, from the night sort of thing. And it's, I mean, it's definitely an ethical line that we did this we discussed this a little bit before we started recording, because we had hoped to have a guest on for this episode just to talk about the depictions of uh, the exotic dancer Fancy in this episode. And um, we just decided that it would be better to do like a retrospective on that versus trying to like get one episode, because we think it's
Mhm.
just such a great topic. But like to say that the ethical boundaries of someone who does sex work would, like, they would not cross into trying to make your business with them established and known,
Right. I mean, I
to
think
their
discretion
wife.
is one of the
Yeah.
most important services that a sex worker provides. Um, and it left it didn't flow well for me. I don't love Spike's attitude. Like, I like that she's like, Fancy can do what she wants with her body, and that's
Yeah.
all well and good. But then she turns right around and says, "But I don't want my husband being the kind of pathetic loser who looks at strippers."
Yeah.
And that's still disparaging sex work, and by extension disparaging sex workers, and I don't love it. And it's 2002 and whatever, but like, I don't know, you can't disparage sex work and say that you support sex workers. I mean, you can, people do it all the time, but you know what I mean. And like, there are so many reasons that people see sex workers, and there
Yeah.
are so many people that seek that. And like, I don't know. Is it the best coping mechanism to go to the strip club every fucking week? Probably not. But
But
it's
people
cheaper
have a
than
lot of
therapy. It's more
it.
accessible than therapy. It's easier than therapy.
I mean, people have a lot of different coping mechanisms, and just like I'm not going to, like, I personally am pro, as long as you are not harming anyone, do whatever the fuck you want to
Right.
do. I don't give a fuck. And so I'm not,
Charlie,
cope
is your
however you
hand up?
cope.
Hmm?
Is your hand up?
You just resting.
No, I'm just
Okay,
holding my
because you
mic.
can just
You
jump in.
just
You're part of the
you just
convo.
chilly wheel.
No,
Um
I'm good on this.
no,
Um,
I think it's, I mean, I do appreciate, Spike for reaffirming certain things about, like, okay, it's my choice what I want to do. I appreciate that. So I do have points in this episode where I'm like, Spike, you had me in the first half, but it's like that she takes decidedly, like, opposite
I mean, I think
stances.
it's just an example of we all can be doing better, and whatever our various allyship is. I think I think the most important thing that you can do as an ally is know that you can be a better ally and look for those opportunities to learn and grow and do better. Um,
And it's like, it's, I think, a good caveat to point out, because I did agree with the discussion we had about this episode, was just to point out that for those who might be saying right now, like, oh my gosh, guys, you are looking very deeply into a show that, or episode that aired 21 years ago. Obviously, it's not that this isn't a very dated point of view, but it's all dated. This is all dated material that we're discussing, and I don't think it's
I think
I
it's
think there's value in talking about how, relative to where we are now, that we know that this wouldn't be written the same way.
I mean, I think it's dated. I think it's also still fairly
There, I
prevalent,
mean, oh, well, totally. I
you
mean, and
know?
there's a lot of people that still don't agree with a lot of, you know, being super like, policing certain terminology. And I know people, personally that I know, be like, why are you saying exotic dancer over stripper? And I think it's just a conscious decision to be more respectful
Right.
about certain,
It
and it's
doesn't
not that this isn't my personal experience, but it doesn't, harm me or anything to do what people ask me to do and to call them the terms that are more comfortable with them, because I would want that deference shown to me.
right. And it's a matter of like it feels like a small thing, but like language matters. It like lends credence to stigmas, you know? Like I'm big on addiction is a thing that has touched my life several times. Not me personally, thankfully, but I've lost people to it both entirely and they're just far gone right now. I've seen a lot of it, and like there are things like I don't use the word clean. I use the word sober, and it's a small thing, but that perception, it's there. The connotation of clean versus the connotation of sober is a real thing, and clean implies that if you're not sober, you're dirty, and dirty is bad.
Right.
And I think it can get to be a little much with the language policing, and I try not to like police language, but I can be mindful of it myself.
And yeah, I mean, to give another example, and then I think we can move on to one other thing I wanted to talk about. But like, I have locks. I am someone who firmly believes that the word dreadlocks is really, I don't like it. That's not, like, I don't believe that, like, that's the proper term for my hair, and I would prefer that people use locks. Am I going to punch you in the throat if you say dreadlocks about about my hair? No, but I'm just going to look at you like you're a dick because I asked you to use this word. And
Right.
that's the word that I prefer, and it
Words
doesn't
matter.
harm you. And it, right, like, I just think there are a lot of negative connotations associated with dreadlocks. My hair is not dreadful, for
Right.
one. And that's what I think
It's
about
wonderful.
primarily. Ah, thank you. That's what I primarily think about. So I mean, it's like, just use the words that people ask you to use, bitch. I mean, I think that's what it boils down to. Like, it doesn't harm you to do, to do that simple, thing.
Right.
And it just shows that you are trying to respect the person that is asking that of you.
And it's a small thing that I think really does make a big difference.
Yes, absolutely. Um,
One thing I want to touch on real quick on just how you use language. I do feel like people sort of assume you will be not decried, but like verbally assaulted if
mhm.
you use the wrong language after somebody sets that boundary, and it's like, no, they might just remind you. It's more about you being mindful.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
It's more when you've
Well,
been reminded 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times and you're
It's
still doing
like,
it.
right, like you just don't care.
and I think we see a lot of like people resisting being more mindful in their terminology, and like an argument that I see a lot is like that the world is a hard place and a mean place and whatever, and like only if we choose to participate in that. If we all
Yeah, why
just
make it
decided
meaner and
to
harder?
stop being dicks to each other, the world would not be a hard and ugly place.
Yeah. There's
So,
an effort. Yeah, it's like, I feel like we all have an effort that we can make to actually just like be less of a dick And
Right.
I mean, that's my bar, man. It's like I don't try to do too much. I just try not to like go out of my way to be dickly to others. Like I don't think that that's a lot to ask. And I mean, I really do believe in this saying. And Tabitha Brown said this. I love her. She's so sweet. She's so cute. She's like, now have a good day. But if you can't, don't go messing anybody else's up. Like that's
Right.
true. Like don't like it, I could be like having the worst day, but like that doesn't mean I have to shit all over you.
Oh, I'm
Like,
so the type of person, like, if I'm like frustrated and have to call customer service, for instance, the
mhm.
second I get on the phone with somebody, I'm like, look, I am really, really upset right now. I know it has nothing to do with you, and I'm
That's
going to
what I
try and
say
be
too.
mindful of that. But
I say the
also, if
same
my
thing.
tone gets bitchy, please feel free to call me on it or transfer me to somebody who gets paid enough to deal with me.
I say the same shit, Caroline. I'm like, I know this is not you. I know this is completely out of your control, but I'm pissed.
Yeah.
So just prefacing that. And it's like, stuff like that. I think if we just, use the language people ask us to use and just try to not be dicks to each other and try to be decent human beings and like we all have feelings and shit. Try to
No,
be
I
respectful,
my
man.
rule on life essentially is that I want to love people the way that I want to be loved, and that I'm going to do my best to leave this place a little bit better than I found it. And that's, I don't have any like delusions of like I'm going to change the world by being nice, but if I could make my little corner of the world a little bit nicer, fuck yeah, I'm here for that.
Right.
Um, what was the other thing you wanted to touch on, Avis?
Um, I, th- I, I actually was flipping through my notes and um, I don't think that I had anything else. I already said how refreshing I think that Sean was towards Emma, and I just think it's probably the sweetest scene um that
Yeah,
I've seen for like it's probably the scene that that's what I wanted to say. I kind of see the appeal now, guys, of Sean and Emma just it based on this point in her life. I still stand by the fact that they are not a forever couple, but I forgot how sweet they are in the beginning.
it's not how
And
sweet they are, though. It's always how sweet he is.
it's how right. It's how sweet he is. And I mean, I think that there's got to be something said for her personality though, the fact that she has to kind of fall on her sword a little bit when it's usually the like in these sort of shows, the guy who has to come around his feelings for her and she's waiting when he's ready sort of thing.
Right.
But he was waiting for her to be ready. His cards were on the table and his heart was on the line, and it was really her choice to make because he's the one who, even after he realized that she didn't want him at the wedding initially and asked Manny to fucking uninvite him, um realizes how much she does value him and how much that she does really like romantically like him and might even love him.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think it's a very like subversion of how we usually see these scenes between these like I mean they're the romantic leads for all of our purposes because we don't have Jimmy and Ashley anymore. So they're like the big couple right now, and I think that they are just
Well, and it
it's
is.
I
It's
mean
all very sweet and romantic.
it
She
is,
looks
but it's
off
like
in the
she
distance. Everybody's paired off dancing. Craig's dancing with
that's
Manny.
well right, that's a good mention too. The crannies back on the tracks. But it is Sean being sweet, but it's Emma being like allowing that herself to be vulnerable, which she doesn't do. She does not allow herself to be out of control or vulnerable, and for that I'm like, okay, I like that in this episode that's how it ends and they resolve it after he affirms her, and I think it's a really sweet way for them to begin their relationship. I do want to know how Cranny got back on the tracks though, because Manny was dead in the water. She was dead in the water.
Because
I mean, I think
I
Craig just
don't.
realized, maybe got a little distance from it and saw her. She's I feel like she gets older by the episode, as weird as it is
Mhm.
to say. Like she becomes less and less of like the high pitched, little squeaky voiced,
Yeah.
Powerpuff backpack wearing kid that she was in the first season. Like she's getting more and more distant from that, and you're starting to see, okay, I can see where you end up. And I do
Well,
really like them dancing together. I just wish we had maybe one little throwaway
I
comment or
think
something.
I don't know. I think it's very in line with the Craig and Manny relationship. I don't think
They're
Craig
off and on, yeah.
ever likes Manny for anything other than that she's pretty and she puts out.
Damn. You're spoiling things. That's a spoiler. But okay, from what we know so far, she is pretty.
She's pretty.
So she's pretty. So
They don't
that's
have anything
that.
in common.
They don't,
And
and I
I think
mean,
Craig is
he has way
always
more in common with
kind of
Ashley.
indifferent to Manny. And
I think you
Manny's
have that had this take, and I mean, I think people compare them to like Marilyn and Jackie. It's that sort of, okay, the
the goth
bombshell.
Madonna or the cutesy whore.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
basically, and I mean, maybe it's just me liking like, I know we had that poll in the Degrassi, I think we put it on TikTok, we also did it on Facebook and Instagram about like what the favorite iteration of Craig's romances were, and I was always team Craig with no one. Team Craig with therapy, maybe. Because
Yeah.
like, why? I don't like him with Manny, and it is a little bit of a spoiler, but we can see that they're hinting at him being with Ashley. Obviously that happens. I don't I either both of them are like, no thank you. Sorry. Like, I just don't think that either of them are valid relationships.
No.
But particularly I will agree that she's pretty to him, and he's like, oh, you look like, I could tell her outfit, to get into the fashion corner, I could tell her outfit is fly, but we don't get very much of it. And maybe she's just like, she's looking nice, she's got her hair pulled back, she's got her little
Should
wedding
we
outfit on,
should we
she's
mosey on over to the fashion corner?
I think that'd be a good
Everyone's favorite
idea.
corner.
Yeah, everyone's favorite corner, but you know that I love a
Because
stroll on over.
You got some
I've
fashion?
definitely got a fashion. I've got a fashion for this one.
Oh, awesome.
It's I'm sure everyone noticed Sean's outfit to the wedding.
Mm-hmm. He
Yes.
finally bought a tie.
He's got
He bought it. Oh my
a,
god!
a
He
tie,
had
an oversized
his
button up.
blue jeans on, his untucked white button-up shirt, his black tie, and his fucking wallet chain.
Yep, that wallet chain. I feel like are those the same pants that he's wearing in the library? Because the chain,
He
or
can't
maybe he has.
afford that many pants.
Those are his nice chain pants.
He's
Because
being raised by a single brother. Like,
I
give
was
the
gonna
boy some
say,
slack.
I like, that's one of my fashions, Charlie. And then the outfit he's wearing when he gets the invitation from Manny, and he's got that like it's like a sweater shirt. It's like a sweater shirt, and he's got the chain link he's sitting down in the chair, but like, I got a screen grab of him like with the chain link pants on, and it's like, I actually like this outfit, but then I didn't realize that he wore the same fucking pants to the wedding.
It's
Sean.
fine, guys. Okay,
It's
Sean,
so
cut him some
you
slack
are
because he
such
can't
a
afford
fashion
slacks.
victim. It's fine.
Did he?
It's fine.
Did he have a leather jacket at one point when
Yes.
Ever shows up? That was a good look too.
That's one that I like, because I like it. It's one of those real, like, worn in leather. It's not a shiny leather. It's a worn in leather jacket, and he just slips it on like at the end of their conversation, and it's just so nice. It looks like it's a little buttery.
Yeah.
It's like, probably the one look that I think he probably borrowed from Tracker, and that's why I like it so much. That's probably Tracker's fucking jacket.
Probably.
Like, because I just don't see him picking that out. Like, even though it looks good on him, I don't see that, like, that's not really his style. I think it's probably because he's about to ride the motorcycle. That's why he had it. But I love it on him. And I think we both had JT and Toby's fucking Miami Vice
Yep,
outfits.
they brought it back.
It's like Toby's got like a red wingtip sort of button up, and like a, he's got the shoulder pad uh blazer, and JT has a like lemon yellow, it's like kind of like, it's not lemon yellow, mellow yellow um uh blazer as well, and he, like Joey, is channeling the palm trees. He's got a blue palm tree t-shirt on.
Yeah, and
um
Joey's rocking a Hawaiian.
I love Joey's Hawaiian tee with the like the beach palm tree scene. It's very cute. It's very Joey. It's like classic
Mm.
Joey. I really like Joey's really channeling like Joey circa 1988 here. Like he's really channeling his Degrassi classic roots. But I've got a lot of fashion for this episode, guys. One thing I did notice in episode 1, there was a couple background characters serving it, and I just really want to shout out to the couple background characters that I noticed. The first one was this guy who walked past when Emma is giving her book report to Quan, and he's got this like really like this tracksuit on, and it's like yellow. It's like bumblebee yellow, and he's got a hat on. I did take the screenshot, but it's not in the drive, so that sucks. That's why I'm not describing it as well as the other ones.
Yeah, he is. It's right here. He's got the red hat and the yellow and black tracksuit.
What is the type? What is the name of the thing?
IMG_3482.png.
Damn it, Avis! There's one you didn't get. Girl, get it together. Okay, thank you. Um,
There.
there he's wearing a red baseball cap, which I actually think throws off the outfit a little bit. But I really do like his like sweatsuit with the yellow line running all the way down it, and I kind of think he steals the scene because he walks past in like 3 different camera angles. But then in that same scene, of course, Emma is in her little Emma and Quan are in the same shot. I don't really like Emma's outfit or Quan's outfit as much as Emma's. I just wanted to get Emma's from the back. That's why I put Quan in the drive, because I think Quan looks a little dowdy actually. Um I'm not liking her outfit nor her shoes.
Yeah.
It does not give.
It doesn't give. It's like the front of her shoes. I hate the like that square, but it's not quite severe square. It's like a square into a round.
Like a squoval.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. Because I'm not going to attempt to pronounce that again. But yes, that's exactly the
Squoval.
shape. Squoval?
It's a
Okay.
nail shape.
Really?
Yeah. It's like a
Oh.
squared off oval or an ovaled off square.
It's like a square with rounded corners. Oh, no, it'd be an oval like at the top. I'm thinking of a squircle.
No, it
Shit, you
is
can
kind of a
tell that I
square
don't
with
get my nails
rounded.
done.
Yeah.
I don't do that. I don't get my nails done that often, and you can tell.
I'm a coffin girly or a stiletto.
Okay, I do know those shapes. I do. Um but yeah, I don't like the shape of those shoes, and that's probably why her whole outfit's thrown off. But then the top, it's all a mess. Emma's outfit, despite her holding her shoes the entire time, which really bothered me because she's just walking around like black barefooted. Her soles of her feet are black. um just so you know, and she's carrying her shoes that do not really match with her outfit, but honestly, the outfit that she's walking around in without her shoes is a little bit of a look. She's got like, the flare jeans. They have a little bit of flower detail
Embroidery. Yeah.
embroidery, and I think like the misbuttoning of her, it looks like a bed shirt to me, but it also could be the fact that like
I think it just looks like a bed shirt
I
because
think
it's
it
not
just
buttoned
looks
right.
right because it's not button, but I like that it's not button right, and then she has like a tighter sort of cami underneath, and I think it's very effortless, kind of like pre Serena Vanderwoodson. I'm gonna be very generous here. That's me being generous, saying pre Serena Vanderwoodson, because I actually think Serena dresses way better than Emma ever will. But and
Well,
anyway,
Serena has millions of dollars.
she really does. That's an unfair comparison, I guess. But to be fair, for the millions of dollars, Serena always looks like she's half homeless. So, moving on.
This is not a Gossip Girl podcast.
It's not, but guys, I'll talk about it. Anyway.
Is Bad Girls Club.
Oh, did you say Bad Girls Club?
Sorry, I spaced out. I actually have another one, and I have another fashion that I really like.
Okay.
It's a JT.
Really?
Okay.
JT did a right in the intro, and there's not
Okay.
really a
Okay.
great look of it, but he's got his Hawaiian on, he's got a yellow shirt under, and he's got a necklace, and it gives real good.
I
I
felt
got
it
them in
was
the
it's
too
hallway.
matchy. I've been rewatching
I think
Project Runway.
it was maybe a bit too matchy, but I think the bright colors actually look really good on JT.
Yeah, it's one of
I
his.
think
It's one of his better outfits. I'll give him that.
it's like that boy.
Yeah.
It's
I
not
think
a
this
He didn't
should
get
chain.
dressed
be.
in the
A
dark
shell.
today.
It's not like a shell necklace. It's like a beaded necklace.
Yeah, it's like a beaded necklace, but it's
Did I not
he
upload
he
them? Let
remembered
me
to turn the
see.
lights on when he put his clothes on this morning, and I want to applaud him for that.
He's just
Cause
such a love
yeah,
real
I
over there,
think
Charles.
there's like a picture I got that it looked like all of them were in like a teen movie, walking down the um walking down the hallway together. Emma, yeah, this one. I don't
Yeah,
think I uploaded it, but
Yeah,
that's a good picture of the outfit. And you actually get Manny's jeans, which I really like. I'll try
yeah.
to upload it.
Manny's outfit, the green
I
shirt,
love
is really
Manny's top.
cute.
Yeah, because it's like I like the I think that she puts a jean jacket on it later,
Yeah, when
but
she gets to Sean, she's wearing a jean jacket.
I actually prefer it without the jean jacket. I prefer just the green shirt because I think it's a really like nice color for her. But then I didn't realize that faded part on the front of her jeans. I really like that with the shirt. And I don't know why I don't see it as much with the jean jacket, but yeah. Craig actually I like the sweater Craig's wearing with the fedora. It's like a ribbed sweater that's probably like more closer to brown than it is tan. Oh, there's a kitty cat.
We're gonna need cat tax again,
That's
Charlie.
oh golly, that's Cricket. She's stepping on my keyboard right now. She wanted to be a part of the podcast. I don't know if you heard. She was purring into the microphone.
It didn't. Um
Also, I
and
just noticed Emma was sleeping fully clothed at the start
sh-
of part one.
she has on like the very similar like bedroom pants I think that's what makes me think that she has on that shirt is a bedroom shirt, but it's like
No, because I
just
think she wakes
there's
up in
like
a tank
plaid
top.
pants. Yeah, she wearing like
Oh,
In
she
probably
has
like
the
her
a
same
jeans.
really
tank top.
weirdly messy bed. Like it looks like Spike's bachelorette party was the night before and they had it in Emma's bedroom. She wakes up with like a giant stuffed neon
Yeah,
snake
there's yeah.
and like rose petals or confetti or something. It's a weird scene. It's a weird, weird scene.
Yeah. Okay. I think I started to talk about my people in the background and I left it off with the guy with the tracksuit. I have two more people in the background, three more people in the background, then I think I'm done.
Okay.
Cuz like all right. There is a background girl and it's when Manny goes to talk to she tells Emma to put her shoes on and then she goes to talk to these two random people near the locker. She's a blonde hair girl. She has this really cute oversized like it kind of looks like a Letterman style jacket with like puffy green sleeves and this dramatic ass scarf, and
Okay.
she's fly. She could be an exchange student. The only thing that throws me off are the athletic looking sneakers. Not her fault though. Then there is the girl with J Lo vibes when Manny is in the
Is
yes,
that the one you were talking about? The first one?
yes, I made a very blatant. It's hard to crop people out of things. That would probably
Yeah.
have been a better picture.
Okay, it looks like this the last background girl you were talking about, it looks like she's wearing like a flag
I thought it was a
as a
flag,
Yeah.
but
as a
then I was like,
shawl.
it's possible
Is
it's
she
just like a
Heather Sinclair,
dramatic
you
ass
think?
scarf. It's possible she's Heather Sinclair.
Yeah,
She
she's
would
a
fit
day
the
late for
profile.
International Day.
She could be Banksy.
Or
And this girl that looks like J Lo, she's got like a newsboy cap. We really only see the back of her.
Mm-hmm.
She's got like a newsboy cap. She actually looks like how Manny, a couple of Manny's looks in the next few seasons. She's got pigtails and this like tan matching tight ass, it's very tight sweatsuit. And actually, it's just like I want to call her Baby J Lo. Somebody just like dressed her and threw her in the background. Like, just walk past Manny, it's fine. Just steal the entire scene from her. It's okay. And then the cake delivery lady, she is so cute. She reminds me of Molly Ringwald in 16 Candles. She's got like a little felt like jean, those felt jean looking hats that are like, I mean, it's like a sun hat, but jean. And she's got a matching jean jacket with pink detail, and I think like a yellow dress under it. But once again, I'm like, why are they dressing these background characters so well? Why are they dressing these minor characters better than half of the main cast? I don't know, but they decided, let's just blow our wardrobe budget on the background characters for
Yeah.
this episode. Fuck it. Um, we have the wedding looks. Uh, I like Caitlin's dress. Lucy is wearing an identical dress. It's very hard to tell. It's very, I think it's very like 90s with the, shawl around her neck.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a green dress. And I think Spike's is very similar to that, but it's very underwhelming. So I don't really like Spike's outfit. So
I
I
liked
didn't highlight.
her Indy 500 shirt that she actually got married in.
Right. I like that. It's more Spike. It's way more Spike and it looks way better on her. So, um, yeah, for me, this was ended up being a pretty fashion heavy episode. And oh, Manny's balloon shirt. I think I don't know why they're dressing her in such bright colors this episode, but it was really worked for me. She ended up like, I guess, compare like looking like a carrot and a lime, but I really think those are those are colors that work for her. So, um,
Can I show an example of how dress code makes JT look better?
Yeah.
yeah,
Here he is after school.
Oh, goodness.
He's not allowed to wear a hat. He's not allowed to wear
You got to
sunglasses.
move it over a little bit, Charles.
Which way?
Yeah, that's good.
That's better. Yeah.
Yeah.
He looks so much worse once he's got his backwards baseball cap and his tinted glasses on. Dress code saved that boy.
Does he not wear hats before?
He wears them kind of between classes sometimes, but like during the classes, he's not supposed to have a hat on. They made a whole to do about that, I think, in the pilot,
Oh damn.
Yeah.
or not in the pilot, but the first episode. They're in school.
Yeah, right. After MCR. Okay. Yeah. I think like I said, it was a heavy fashion episode for me, but I feel like the visuals that we'll post on the socials,
Yeah.
it's
Sorry.
gonna be a long slideshow, so buckle up. But
Buckle up, buckaroos.
So I believe that it's time to mosey from the fashion corner on into the bad part of town where the shots are fired. Pew!
Pew, 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 pew.
Shots fired. Pew 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 pew.
Charlie, I thought we had a sound for that.
Yeah, but it's always fun.
All right. Which one comes first? Did you want to do? Because yours is.
I think the first one is when
in the hallway with.
in the hallway when Craig
Yeah.
when JT and Toby come up to Craig and he's like, JP and Tony, what's up?
What's up? Craig, and like he says his first, like Craig Manning, like it's so insulting. First one is Sean asking Emma what happened to your hair, and Emma just pointing her finger after beat in response, like it was like a rickroll of herself.
Yeah. Re Emma's hair when Lucy and Caitlin get there and Lucy sees it and says, Spike, you didn't. I thought you were supposed to be a professional.
Oh my gosh, so good. I'm gonna fire a shot at Joey for thinking that 20 years old isn't old enough to see an exotic dancer.
Right, they're
24.
combined.
I
No,
mean,
it'd
I
be like
said so. My
26.
original note was 24, and that was me being generous to him. Okay, you could think these kids, if you think these kids are 12, 24 is what it's old enough, but you could just be dumb and think that they're 10 years old. 20 is still old enough to see a stripper.
Right,
I would
right,
I would wager that 18 is old enough to see a stripper because you can go to the army, you can vote. Why can't you see a stripper? That's when they'll start letting you in. Why not? Um
right. Yeah.
and then very shortly after that in this part 1, Craig, his reaction when he runs to the door hoping to see Fancy, and it is Toby and JT instead. His face, which we will post, is very disappointed. It's like the worst reaction to someone seeing you at the door ever. You would.
I really loved Manny and Joey are like decorating a car with balloons. And they're using helium, which I don't understand why you would use helium for like balloons that you're taping to a car, but whatever, it's fine, it's fine.
It could
Um,
just blow them
but
up.
they're fucking around with the helium, and Joey takes a hit and sings the only song he knows. Everybody wants
Everybody wants
something.
something.
And then Manny takes a hit of helium and goes, "That's a dumb song."
Which is hilarious. Her little voice is so funny. Um, and then over in part 2, I think it's hilarious when the boys are looking through the feed for the first time and they see Radish. They're like, Radish, ah! um, and then I've got to also fire a shot at Toby and JT for falling the fuck asleep. That shows that y'all are not ready to see Fancy, the exotic dancer. Because come on now, it was way
It was
past
just
your
past their bedtime.
bedtime. It was way past your bedtime. Should just went home.
Right.
Do you think they cover when Joey finds them and he's like, your parents must be worried sick. Do you think they did the old, oh, I'm going to a sleepover at JT's, oh, I'm going to a sleepover at Toby's trick?
Probably.
Yeah, I think that would be the best bet.
Oh,
Scramble the.
also, JT still has parents.
He
JT does still
does.
have parents.
Even though they have now mentioned his grandmother because they talk about how he's never seen a live woman naked or whatever. And then Toby has to remind him, except for when you walked in on your grandma in the shower or whatever. And he's like, I thought we agreed that never happened.
That's not real.
Just because you repress it
Right.
doesn't mean it didn't happen. But we're not going to get into that. It's a whole other thing. But yeah, we can start, talk about our shining stars and super bummers for this long ass wiener of an episode.
Accurate.
That's how I feel.
Um,
What are do you any of when you want to start with your shining stars?
nobody.
Tracker Cameron.
Yeah, Tracker Cameron.
Tracker
It's all
Cameron.
the supporting characters. It's Tracker Cameron. It's Manny Santos.
It's Sean.
It's Sean.
It is Sean.
Even though Sean is heartbroken and uninvited to a wedding, he still offers sage advice to his maybe girlfriend.
Yeah, no, Sean's good in this one.
He is, and he's not getting anything out of this. He's just a good, which I appreciate. So, yeah, I mean, and like and everybody else kind of fucking sucked.
Sucks.
Yeah,
but
super
it's just
bummers,
kind of
everyone
like
else.
meh.
I'm super bummers, all of you.
Definitely. Although I think that there are some like shout out worthy super bummers.
Yeah.
Fucking Spike. Honestly,
Emma, totally Emma. I really Spike, and I'm gonna throw Snake and Spike, Snake and Spike and Emma.
I think Snake is an honorable mention because I think while Snake could have responded better, it wasn't an unreasonable response to what was happening around him.
He was angry
the
and Emma was there. That's what happened.
Oh, totally. The S-Man has I just think that whenever, like, I really take this category super literally, and I'm like, whenever you bum me out, you're
Yeah,
going on there. And
JT and Toby
I
bummed me out.
totally, they really did bum me out. They bum me out hard. They are
I have one more shining star.
definitely
Oh,
Lucy for fixing Emma's hair.
totally Lucy for saving the damn day, because yikes.
Lucy's good. I will appreciate Caitlin was not a super bummer this time around.
The
She was
fuck
just
she
there
Caitlyn
for
wasn't.
me.
She
just
gave advice.
Caitlyn just tried to float, but then she couldn't help but getting involved in like everything that was going on. She could have just minded her business, but I don't think that she's capable. But she didn't bum me out. She didn't bum me out.
Yeah,
No.
she was just kind of there
She
for
was
me.
just
She
right.
wasn't
She was
like.
just there for me. I was just like, whatever.
So you're outvoted, Caroline, 2-1.
That's fair.
um and yeah, it's like everybody else was pretty like, was just a non factor.
Can can I actually get why, Caroline, you think Emma's a super bummer? Because Emma was kind of just there for me too. I think for the most part, she was just a 13-year-old girl
She was, I think.
catastrophizing.
Mm,
I think sneaking out of the house in the middle of the night is like you could have taken a second to think about that. And she
Yeah,
is a 13-year-old girl, and she was nasty to Manny, and she was nasty to Sean. Like that all worked out, but like how shitty.
yeah.
I know you didn't invite him, but it's been done now, and it's shitty to make Manny go and like uninvite him. It's shitty to her. It's shitty to him.
yeah. A-
Um,
and I mean, I she right, like I think for that she can go on there, because that part I didn't appreciate as a friend. Like, damn, you're literally making me uninvite someone. Wow,
well,
that's
and
just the shitty.
and also, and it's not her fault entirely because like Spike has an inappropriate relationship with Emma, but the way she is about like all up in Spike's business about Spike possibly terminating the pregnancy and all of that, like it bummed me
Yeah.
out.
It that bummed me out too, but I do get Charlie's POV. I
Mm,
think if we're gonna do an honorable mention for, because like I truly felt bummed out by Spike and her just lack of communication, and I know that she felt like she had cause, but for me, she bummed me out way more legitimately, and like that I stand by that. Then I can say that, I maybe it goes tears. Of course, Spike. Emma, she's got moments like but then Snake, he's got a moment.
yeah.
And uh for that I will give
I mean,
those
and
last two
also
honorable mentions,
keep in
because I feel
mind
like
that
it's
this is
Spike.
an Emma Nelson slander podcast.
It is, and I feel like it's important to be to call it like you see it, even when we're trying to slander this character.
I
I
think
don't
Joey
think
deserves at least an honorable mention as well.
No, Joey's a bummer.
Joey's
Joey's a
just a
flat bummer for
straight,
me.
yeah, I mean, he doesn't really, he
The
allows
whole
himself
like,
to be
okay,
persuaded
but this
by
was
a
your
fucking
idea. Like, how is that like that's worse than you just disrespecting your friend's boundaries?
right.
Because a child told you they wanted a stripper.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So you're not even allowed. I mean, you shouldn't allow them to see a stripper. You shouldn't. They are underage. That is not okay. However, I don't know, to like let them talk you into something that they can't even participate in themselves is a little weird.
Yeah.
It's a little like boundary crossy. It's a little odd, but yeah, for that, oh totally, he bummed me out, no question. But that's just Joey. When there's Joey
Yeah.
heavy episodes, I just feel like he either comes off really good or he comes off really bad. So
Yeah. Super
this
bummer.
is one of those that's like, you bum me out, Joey.
Yeah, no, this episode really had me go from like, you guys know I was on the Joey's a decent parent train. This derailed that train immediately.
Off the tracks for
Like
you.
like like it was getting shaky.
Yeah.
In the Craig steals a car episode, but then ooh, he just fucked up.
Yeah, no, Joey's not a great example. Like, and he's a better dad to Craig than Albert, but
That's a low
But
bar.
that's a very low bar. Thank
You can
you.
walk over
The
that
I
bar
mean,
bar.
is on the
kudos to
fucking
you for
floor.
not beating a kid, but like,
Thank you for not beating him, Joey. I feel like that's trigger warning for that. But there's just no, maybe we could cut that. 'Cause I just don't want people
Yeah.
to come at us with pitchforks. Jeez.
Kudos to you, Joey, for rescuing a kid from a bad situation, but fuck.
However, that doesn't mean that you just can go balls to the wall in every other area.
right.
So for that, you are a bummer, Joey.
Yeah.
But I think it's time to ask. Does it go there?
Does it go there?
Does it go there?
Does it go there?
Well, seeing as I called it a wiener.
I I
It goes
think
to the wiener zone.
it does in the sense that like the episode is very much dealing with adult problems,
Yeah,
but
in
like
that regard.
It
thinking,
doesn't, because I don't care.
yeah, thinking about it as like the target audience. No,
No.
It's just right. Like I feel like that's how I began the episode, just saying like I don't really care. And I watched
Well,
the
that's.
older show and I don't really care. So
I feel like you could argue it doesn't go there because it doesn't really. Yes, it's dealing with a serious and adult like problem, but it's not
mm,
treating it with any real respect or focus. It's not looking at this from a serious standpoint. It's kind of more like, well, we need something to happen with Spike.
we sure do.
yeah,
We sure do. This can't be like a wedding in paradise. There needs to be a little bit of anxiety here. It needs to be a will they won't they situation. How
Yeah,
can we
God
do
one
forbid
that?
we just
last
have
will
a
they,
nice
won't
wedding.
they?
They just can't have a nice wedding. It's just too boring. It's too boring, guys. We can't do that. We've got to
The
throw a baby in there because pregnancy is stressful. Yeah,
Pregnancy
but
is
there's
the
like a
stressful.
bunch of other things that you probably could have did. I don't know.
no these two episodes, as well as the one we'll be talking about next week, all of them, the resolutions really felt like the time limit's running up. It didn't
Yeah.
feel like there was a real resolution to any of the problems presented. It was just like, well, we're almost done.
Right.
Fair. And I think it's like I try to give them the benefit of the doubt because I know we've said before, not every episode can be like a hot button topic or something that's crazy happening to the characters because
But
obviously
this
that's
was a filler
exhausting.
episode.
But it was a super filler, and even though we get the payoff of Emma and Sean, it's almost like okay, but we knew that it was just a matter of time for that, and so to feel like this wasn't such a waste of an episode, I feel like they're like here throwing us scraps, and it's fine. It's just like it's very clear that it's not. There wasn't much happening here, guys. We just get a couple of funny moments, and we get an exotic dancer. And I mean, honestly, that whole plot is more interesting than Spike and Sneak's wedding,
Yeah.
which is the forefront of the story. But it ends up feeling like the backdrop because we don't care.
We
But
don't care.
we
Be
love
grown
them
ups. You're
though. We
grown
love
ups.
them. We love them. It's just this show's not really about you.
Right.
It's just like move out of the way, guys. Just shove them. But yeah, the show's not about them. But it was fine. It didn't go there though.
It did
No.
not. Thank you for listening to your mom's podcast. Next week, we'll be talking about Don't Believe the Hype, Hazel's one and only storyline, and Careless Whisper, wherein we discover that Toby learned absolutely nothing from Jimmy and Ashley and is quite the suction cup himself.
This episode of Your Mom's Podcast was made possible in part by Fact Plus pregnancy tests, Fillmore's Gentlemen's Club, and support from listeners like you.
If you'd like to further support our show, You can follow our Facebook page and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at YMP Podcast and TikTok at Your Mom's Podcast. You can also visit our website at www.padcast.com. Your Mom's Podcast is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. If you feel so inclined, subscriptions and reviews are another great way to support the show. If you'd like to support us financially, you can subscribe to our Patreon at www.patreon.com/yourmomspodcast. And remember, that's Padcast, PAHDCAST.